Love is a beautiful thing. Trust is all we need, eh? Though it is so lucky now, but I'm still waiting. When I do, I'll pay my dues and set to say I do. I'll give it up to you, cause everything I will do. What a girl's like a million. They just want my million in you. I'ma put all my billion love. I'll put my love in one basket. You're all that I have now. There's no one else, so I'll guard you with my life. I got a fragile heart, babe. Fragile heart. Before you walk out that door, before you break my heart, eh? See, I wanna tell you my mind now, baby. I'm from a broken home, so stop thinking.
Hello viewers at home, I'm so excited to be here again. Another beautifully packaged edition of Intimate Talk with TOLU, your show, my show, our show, where we try to solve all those problems that are making you to be nagging, to be walking around with so much burden on your heart. You know, Intimate Talk with TOLU is not just a passion for me, it's a calling. And when people call me and say, TOLU, you touch my life, how did you know exactly what is happening in my marriage? How did you know that that is the problem I'm going through? I tell them, this is not just about me, it's God, and it's all about you. Tonight, I'm so glad to be here. You know how we do it. Pick up your phone, call your friends, call your families, if I call your enemies, tell them, because the word of God says you should love your enemies and pray for them. Yeah, so you can always tell them. If you see your enemy, not even your friend now, your enemy is having problem in their relationship or marriage, if you have one, I don't expect you to have one, at least not that you know. But if you know anyone that is your friend or enemy or frenemies, if there's anything like that, send them a BlackBerry broadcast. Tell them to tune into this station right away, because it's happening right here tonight. If this is your first time of watching us, you could be wondering what we do here. What we talk about on Intimate Talk with TOLU is relationship, sex, and marriage. We try to help you to stop suffering in your relationship. We try to build you, to let you see that you are worth more than gold. And you know, God has not created you to be sad, to be down. He's interested in your happiness, and that is why Intimate Talk with TOLU is here just for you. Tonight I have a beautiful topic that I packaged just for you. I titled it 3 Ways to Stop Fighting About Sex. Beautiful one. Before I go to the discourse of the night, let me give you my tips for the week. You know my tips for the week. Every week I give you tips that are very useful, how to take care of your body, your home, your kitchen, everything that makes you happy. So if you find my tips useful, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Or if there is anything you want me to talk about your body announcements, kitchen announcement, bedroom announcement, whatever, just send me an SMS or send me an email, or go to my Facebook page or my website and send me a message. Okay, tonight, my first tip: avoid wearing contact lenses for more than 90 hours. It can cause permanent sight damage. I hope you get that. Avoid wearing contact lenses for more than 90 hours. It can cause permanent sight damage. My number 2 tip for the week: to prevent your head shell from cracking, add a pinch of salt to the water before boiling. I take it again. To prevent your eggshell from cracking, Add a pinch of salt to the water before boiling. Those are my tips for tonight. I'm back to the business of the day. 3 ways to stop fighting about sex. You need to understand the importance of sex in marriage and why your husband keep asking for it more than you do. He's just being a man. This is to the women. You know, you keep wondering, I don't understand him. He's always asking for sex. It's different from you, the way your husband is wired. Now, people really need to understand. If you are a single lady or a single guy, you are listening to me now, you need to understand that I don't, intimate talk with TOLU or anti-TOLU, I don't support premarital sex. It's against the will of God. It's doing a lot of damages to our society and even to you that are engaging in it. So I will keep saying it as a fact. I can't hide it. So if you are listening tonight, all you need to do is to pick these points, because they are going to be useful for you by the time you get married. And for those that are married, it is time for you to start smiling in your sex life, in your marriage. Just pick your pen and paper and put down these points. Now, as a woman, you really need to know that when your husband is asking for sex more than you do, it's just being a man. Most men, and then for the men, you need to learn to know how to make your wife to keep looking forward to sex. Now, this is where the problem is. There's contradictions, because the woman is not looking forward to it and the man wants it all the time. That is why you keep fighting about sex in your marriage. Now, I am going to be telling you how to stop these contradictions. How to, the two of you two, how you can come to a neutral ground, to come to an understanding, so you could start enjoying sex in your marriage. Now, each time there are some things you need to know about sex. Now, sex is a powerful tool in marriage. I will call it that way. And even though I don't want to really go into this aspect, where I need to let you know that sex is more than just a physical exercise or activity. It's actually spiritual. Take it from me or not, it is. So, and a lot of marriages are in crisis, even when you don't want to admit it. The problem you are facing in your marriage now is sex related. Even though you are saying, no, what's my own? I don't like sex, so it's a lie. Everybody loves sex. At least when you are married, you are meant to enjoy it. God is the initiator of sex. It's not a sin to enjoy sex when you are married. So when you keep fighting, you keep malice. In fact, you are cheating because of sex in your marriage. All those need to stop, because cheating is not a way out. It's not a way out. It's not a solution to your problem. You need to know what to do. You need to understand the principles. And good enough. That is why TOLU is here. Okay? Now, this is a point you need to know about sex. Each time a man or a woman reaches fulfillment, we call it orgasm. When you are making love, oxytocin is released to the brain and the body in quantities that promote bonding between the two people. So, this means that the more a married couple has sexual fulfillment, each of them, and not only the man now, both the man and the wife, get to the level of fulfillment, the more they bond with each other. They become more close and more attached to each other. So you see why you are fighting? You see why your husband is not close to you? You see why you and your wife, you are going this way, your wife is going this direction? Because there is no sexual fulfillment in your family. So as a matter of fact, when you are sexually fulfilled, you will bond more. You will get more attached. Another thing you need to know is that testosterone, one of the hormones responsible for sex drive, is 20 to 40% higher in men than women. It's a fact you need to know. Testosterone is one of the hormones responsible for sexual drive and is higher in men than women. Though not always the case, but commonly it is normal for men to desire sex more than women. That is the way they are wired. Biologically, that is the way the body is wired. So if your husband is asking for sex more than you do, it's because of the hormone. It's not his fault. So you need to understand that too. Another thing you need to know is that men tend to determine intimacy as a form of action like sexual union or physical activities for the women, while women tend to see intimacy as sharing emotional bond. the warmth, the closeness, the vulnerabilities. You know, those are the things. And when a man is not getting enough of what it terms intimacy, then he begins to think the woman is straying. Now, do you get the point I'm trying to make there? To a man, what it terms, you love me, I love you, you are my wife. What it terms intimacy, you care about me, is sex. And he said, you know, men, everything is problem solution. Problem, there is no thing, they don't want paparazzi. I've said it before on this show, you know. So when everything, when you want to show your husband you care, you love me, you are bonding with me, have sex with me. That is what men know. But to a woman, she wants to feel vulnerable. She wants to feel your warmth. She wants to feel loved. She wants to feel like you are always there. All those little things that doesn't bother you are bothering her head. Now you see that I'm trying to explain all this, so you see that there are a lot of differences between you as a man and you as a woman when it comes to sexual compatibility. You know, there are a lot of differences. You are not that compatible. Your body system is different. That is what I'm trying to say. So you really need to come to an agreement so you could stop fighting about sex, and so you could stop using sex as an excuse to cheat or to break your home. Okay. Now, having understood all those points that I've said about sex, so now what do you do to bond? What do you do to stop fighting? What do you do to stop looking for sex outside? Because what you are looking for in Sokoto is right there in your Sokoto. So instead of you to stop looking to start looking for what is not lost, then find a solution. You know, the problem most of us are having is this. You have problem in your home, and then you leave that problem. You say, I don't know what to do, she's not responding, blah 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 blah. Then you left. Then you decide to go outside, get a young beautiful babe, and then you start dating and start sleeping with her. And then you know the danger of extramarital affairs. You know it. I don't want to die. It's a topic for another day. Lots evils are evil. They are flying around these days. In fact, I mean, I've said it before on this show that real men don't cheat. So if you're a cheater, you are not a man. You are not a real man. That is a fact, and I'm going to prove it to you one of these days, what I mean by that statement. So what am I saying? When you are going outside to fulfill what you are supposed to get in your house, now you go by time you come back. You will go, then outside will pursue you. You know, that is how they say it. That when you go outside, we pursue you back to your house. You know those things, you see some things that will drive you back to the house. And then when you get back home, then you will now meet the problem. The problem you left unsolved. The sexual issues you were having, and then you left unsolved and decided to go and fulfill, get satisfaction now outside. You will come back home and then I'll meet them there. In fact, probably this time around with more, with more siblings. This time the problem will have grown, developed, and then it now become an issue that you start thinking of divorce. To avoid all that, these are things you need to know to stop fighting about sex. Number one, communicate. Fighting is different from communication. You need to talk about it calmly and rationally. Consider the male ego when you are trying to talk about this. Now, even though sometimes I don't want to go into some point, but in the process of trying to explain to you that things I need to say, sometimes when you don't know how to table your matter when it comes to sexual issue, your husband can end up having erectile dysfunction as a man. Yeah, it will not get erection when it's supposed to make love to you because of the way you table your matter. I don't really want to delve into that, but I'm trying to make a point that if you don't understand how to table your issue, especially when it comes to sex, because of men ego, especially for the men has ego. If you don't know how to table your issue, then every time he wants to make love with you, he will start thinking, hey, I don't know if I will satisfy her, I don't know, then it results to he will start sweating, heartbeat, before you know, heartbeat increasing. Before you know, it's become a problem. This will keep repeating itself each time you want to make love. So you need to understand as a woman, don't forget that point, how to table your matter. Now communicate rationally. Whether one of you is not getting what you want, or you have different sex drive, or whatever the reason is, open discussion and honesty is the solution to avoid fight. No matter how difficult this thing is, we need to talk about it. Because you don't, except you, there is no alternative in the kingdom, especially for the children of God. You don't have alternative. You are not going anywhere to get this sex, so you need to sort it out. Communicate, talk about it rationally. Wake up in the middle of the night, discuss it. Tell her the things you want, the way you want it. You know, communicate till you get it right. A lot of people, there are people that, you know, before they get married, they are bad kissers. You know, I mean, they are good. That's what I'm trying to say. They are good in kissing. And then they get married to a partner who doesn't understand anything about kissing. You know, kissing is one of the process of love making. Then it become an issue. How do I tell him? Then, and this is somebody that maybe before she gets aroused, before she gets to that level, she wants to be kissed. And then because she doesn't know how to tell you, then it become a problem. Then before you know it, she will start suppressing that aspect of her sex life. She'll start suppressing it because she really don't know how to table the matter. What am I trying to say? Then some things that she likes becomes a taboo in your marriage. Then before you know it, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, she forget about kissing. Kissing will be swept under the carpet. So what happened? She won't get the level of fulfillment she's supposed to get. So what am I trying to say? You need to talk about it anyhow. Talk about it. Don't always die in silence. That is very common to Nigerian women, or let me say African women. In this part of the world, it's common to us. A lot of women are dying in silence. In fact, I have seen in this my few years of practicing as a counselor, I have seen uncountable number of women who have never experienced what it means to reach orgasm. Married, sexually frustrated, and there are some who have even experienced it when they were single. Then when they got married, they kept looking forward to it until they become sexually frustrated and forget about it. And you as a man, all you do is lie down, and you come and you forget about her. What am I trying to say? You need to communicate. As a woman, you need to open up. Don't go and look for boyfriend outside, because you will suffer. You will use your hand to scatter what you have broken. To scatter what you have built. So what am I saying? Communicate anyhow, no matter how difficult. Say it and understand how to table it. Number 2, how to stop fighting about sex in your marriage. Compromise. It is difficult for the two of you to be at the same place all the time. It's not possible. Maybe one prefers sex in the daytime. For example, there is a particular truck driver that wrote to me that, Auntie Tolu, what about people like us? I work in the night and I come back in the day. Then when I want to make love to my wife, she said, no, I can't do it. So it's daytime. Oh, I want it in the night. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you expect the man to do? In the daytime, she should go and look for somebody else. He should go and look for somebody else to satisfy him. Is that what you want? No. This is where compromise comes in. You know, some may like it done with light on. Others might want it without light. Some might hate to be touched while sleeping. In fact, there are some people, if you touch them while they are sleeping, they will give you a dirty slap. Or the difference in styles or in the frequencies. Men can compromise by helping the wife with some household chores when you know you are planning to have sex later in the night. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to talk about compromise. Now, what I mean by this is this. You don't just go out as a man. You know, and then when you come back in the evening, you meet this woman at home. She's sweating, cooking, then at the same time trying to take care of the children, feed them, take them to the bedroom. She wants to clean the house, blah 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 blah. She's doing like 100 things at the same time. And you as a man, you came back from work, you cross your leg, carry your newspaper and stay in front of television. This woman is dying, suffering, tired. And then when she now retired to bed, I say, oh, thank God, make I sleep. Then you stretch your hand. She will want to slap you. I'm telling you, you don't expect that kind of a woman to enjoy sex with you. Now, what do I mean by compromise in this situation? As a man, even if you can help the children to their bedroom when she's cleaning the kitchen, even when she's trying to, like, you know, and sometimes even when you don't help out, sometimes all you need to do is say, oh baby, well done. Oh, do you need my assistance? Hey baby, look like this work is much for you. Just that alone can make a woman to feel loved. Just little statement. That is, I know normally when you come back from work as a man, you could be tired too. but you can compromise a little bit. That is where compromise comes in. Then as a woman too, sometimes you are tired. You can also do it for him. You can do it for him. You might not even be in the mood, but sometimes it's not all the time that the man has to follow the normal procedure, do this, do that, so that you get to the level, because it takes a longer period for a woman to get aroused sexually. So even if he cannot do all that, sometimes, not all the time now, sometimes you can compromise. But compromise here, compromise there, then you stop fighting about these things. You would get to a level that you start understanding each other. Then it now becomes, you get to a level of understanding. You read your body languages. Then you don't have to start fighting about sex. And again, and sometimes as men, we don't really understand our wife's body. You don't understand how your wife's body, you don't know where to touch, you don't know what to do. That is part of communication. I'm going back to that. You need to talk about, ask her, what do you want me to do? Are you really enjoying this thing? Where do you want me to touch? What exactly do you want? And then when it comes to compromise, there are times that even as a man you are tired, you don't want to do all those paparazzi, but because you want her to be okay, you can also do that. So when you make up your mind to compromise, both of you, then you can start enjoying your sex life. You communicate, you compromise, and then number 3, you fix what is not working. These are the 3 points. How do you fix what is not working? You don't like the way he jump into action before foreplay. That is for the women. You don't enjoy it at all. There's something she's not doing. That is for the men. You don't like the smell. You don't like how it smells. There's a lady that came to my office and said, Auntie Tolu, the problem I have is that my husband, when he comes back from work, he will be sweating, all sweaty, all smelling, and then the next thing he wants to have sex with me. He said most time she feel like vomiting, but she don't even know how to explain to her husband. She doesn't know how to table the matter. Now tell me that kind of a woman, how do you expect her to enjoy sex? So you need to fix what is not working. What is not working in your relationship or in your marriage? What is those things that you don't like? Instead of getting into arguments over same issue every time you want to make love, instead of arguing, instead of in the night you want to make love, then you know how this thing works. She said no, or probably in the morning you want to do it, she said no, and then you get angry. You are angry from house to work. It's like that most time for men. When you want it and you said no, then it gets angry. Then you can bone each other. Then before you know, no calls, no SMS throughout the day. You see how this thing is. Before you know it, this thing will degenerate. Then you start keeping malice. Then when you keep malice for the next 3 days, you are not talking to each other. You are looking for somebody to talk to online. You are looking for a guy that will tell you are beautiful, don't mind your husband. Then he too is going out to look for a girlfriend who will say, oh boy, come and have it now. What are you looking for? I have it here. And then you expose your family, your marriage, the destiny of your children. You expose them to danger. So what do? Fix what is not working. Whatever it is, sit down together and look for the root of the problem. Why are we not enjoying sex in this marriage? What is happening? Look for that particular problem and fix it. That is all about this topic. How to stop fighting about sex. Communicate, compromise, fix what is not working. Don't go anywhere, because by the time I come back, I will be answering your question. Don't forget, you can always send me an email right away and I'm going to answer your question. Send me an email to intimatetalkwithtolu@yahoo.com. Don't go anywhere, because I shall be right back.
Lack of proper communication, sexual and financial issues, pretense, and hypocrisy are the major causes of broken relationships and marriages. If you're facing any of these challenges and you feel like walking away, stop. Talk to TOLU today about any challenge you might be facing in your relationship or marriage. TOLU is best known for our hobby of building homes and fixing relationships. A family therapist with over a decade of experience. Counseling is not just a passion, but also a divine call. Book an appointment with her today for one-on-one counseling. You can also contact her for matchmaking. TOLU also accepts invitation to speak at seminars, conferences, and churches. Fix your home. Contact TOLU today.
Welcome back to Intimate Talk with Tolu, where there's always a shoulder to lean on. We've been discussing a very interesting topic tonight that I've titled How to Stop Fighting About Sex. You can call it sex or call it lovemaking, but all Intimate Talk with Tolu is saying is stop the fighting and get down with the business. Okay, I'm sure you must have picked one or two lessons from tonight's episode. And I want, I said on every episode of Intimate Talk, I want to leave your relationship and marriage better than I met them. So I hope that was something. At least you have been able to pick one or two lessons from tonight's episode. Now back to the questions. Don't forget you can always send me your question on SMS to 081-845-75377 or send me an email to intimatetalkwithtolu@yahoo.com. The first question here says, Dear Auntie Tolu, please help me out. I have a girl that I want to marry. We love each other very much, but my parents are insisting I can't marry her. They said she's an Osu, an outcast. But I love her so much. Please, what should I do? Does that still exist? I think people from the East will be able to explain that more. Osu? Okay, I think I don't really want to talk too much about that, but let me answer your question. Now, if you are a born-again Christian, there is no Osu in the kingdom. I know I've seen people that I've asked about this question of Osu. I think we've discussed it once on my page on Facebook. And people that came from that area said a lot about it. Actually, a lot of people said it's still existing. That even if you marry from there, that they will label you. In fact, your parents might disown you. They will abandon you. Now, what I'm going to say is, if God is asking you to go ahead, you are very sure. Who is man to say no? It might be tough, it might be difficult, but God has never condemned anybody. Who is man to condemn anyone? Number 2 questions say, how can someone come out of anger, or how can someone deal with a partner who has gotten a level of anger without harming the relationship or marriage? Please help a home that is on fire. Anger. I think if you need to see a therapy for anger management, there are 2 things I will tell you. You need to see a therapy. You just have to. Definitely, if you are the one that understand there's a way these things work. Number 1, you are a partner to that person. You must be able to be ready to help the person. That is number 1. And then the person now who has this A-level problem, anger problem, should be able to admit that he has a problem. Because if he didn't admit, then there is going to be, I don't think you can make any headway in trying to find solutions to the problem. So he needs to admit that he has a problem. Now, then another thing you need to do is to talk to God about it. I believe in the efficacy of prayer. Talk to God about it, and there is nothing God could not do. Then finally see a therapist. The number 3 question I have here say, is cuddling, kissing, romance, and all forms of foreplay without sex before marriage a sin before God? I don't understand. If you really want to know what is a sin before God, the word of God says, I have, he said, I have made up my mind that I am not going to. Okay, the next question says, Auntie Tolu, is cuddling, kissing, romance, and all forms of foreplay without sex before marriage a sin before God? In fact, the word of God says, looking at a woman, ordinarily looking and thinking, you look at a lady, at a maiden, like the Bible puts it, and you conceive something in your heart, you have already committed a sin. So I think that explains it better. So you don't really need to ask. If now you get to the level of cuddling, romance, what else? What are you waiting for? You can kiss and come. People can kiss and reach orgasm. You can do foreplay and come. So what else? What are you talking about? So if you want to know, it's really a sin before God. This one says, hello Auntie Tolu, my husband doesn't show any emotions, feelings, or even tell me sweet things while making love. He's always quiet. I've talked to him about this many times without any change. This lowers my sex drive. What do I do? Now, if you haven't mentioned that you talk to him severally, what I would say is talk to him. That is the only solution to this problem. Communication, talk to him. But now that you have talked to him and he's not ready to change, what you need to do is to see a counselor. See a counselor, because I don't want to start saying talk to your pastor or talk to your mother, because most time those things, by the time men has ego. When you discuss them maybe in a church and they get to know, in fact he might stop going to that church. That is the truth. If he knows that the pastor knows something so deep like that, he might stop going to the church. So to avoid all this trouble, just talk to a neutral person who is a counselor. And Auntie TOLU is always available. You can always see me if you're having any issue in your relationship, any issue in your relationship, in your sex life, and in your marriage. I will always give you my shoulder to lean on. At this part that I will be ending tonight's episode of Intimate Talk with TOLU. Thank you for being part of my show. Do not forget you can always reach me on my email if you have any question whatsoever related to relationship, to sex, or to your marriage. Like whatever you are going through, don't bother. There is no point dying in silence. Just send me an email to intimatetalkwithtolu@yahoo.com. I will be there to answer your mail. You can also visit my Facebook page, Ever Bubbly, Ever Lively Intimate Talk with TOLU Facebook page, facebook.com/Intimate Talk with TOLU. Don't forget you can always also visit my website, www.intimatetalkwithtolu.com, and you can reach me on my direct line 081-845-75377. Now, before I go, my food for thought for tonight. It is not sex that brings the pleasure, but the lover. Don't forget that. I'm leaving you on that final note. It is not sex that brings the pleasure, but the lover. Thank you for being part of my show tonight. I'm going to see you same time, same station next week. Goodbye.
Love is a beautiful thing. Trust is all we need, eh? Though it is so locking down, but I'm still waiting. When I do, I'll pay my dues and set to say I do. I'll give it up to you, cause everything I will do. What a girl's like a million. They just want my million in you. I'ma put on my billion love. I'll put my love in one basket. You're all that I have now. There's no one else, so I'll guard you with my life. I got a fragile heart, babe. Fragile heart. Before you walk out that door, before you break my heart, eh? See, I wanna tell you my mind now, baby. I'm from a broken home, so stop thinking.